Alright, so we're out here doing some bear hunting, and I figured we'd do a little discussion on the topic of binocular power, or what power binocular you should have given on the situation and where you're hunting. So it's my friend Nathan, and we're just going to kind of discuss it. He has different binoculars, so he might have a better idea than me on what's good or what's not good. So I guess to start off, we'll compare. These are 12 power, 12 by 50s actually, but they're 12 power, so they multiply your vision by 12 times. And he's got 10 power, and he's been using those for a long time. And then he's been trying out the 12 power. So I guess, what do you think is best for hunting the western areas?
I guess it depends on your style. Typically, I do a lot of walking or hiking and checking out different areas. So if you're just moving through the woods, and gradually, spot and stalk sort of hunting, the 10 by 42s work. Although I have been looking for the 10 by 50s, but I've also been reading some stuff about the 12 by 50s, and I don't know. I've used them yesterday, and I definitely think for what we were doing, spotting the bears, glassing all day long, the 12 by 50s were definitely the way to go. You get it a little less range of view, but when you put them on your tripod, I mean, you don't get a lot of shakiness that you would get if you're just freehanding them, like you would not get on the 10 by 42s.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people advocate the 8 power or the 10 power over the 12s because I guess in theory and sometimes in the field, depending maybe on who you are, it might be a little bit more shaky offhand if you're just fatigued and pulling them up to your eyes. That's probably somewhat true, but in my experience, and I think in his, we didn't find too much difference in the shakiness. Of course, if you have them on tripod, yeah, there's not really any difference there. The field of view is definitely greater on the 10 and 8 power, but I think for if you're going to glass past like 300 yards, then it's not so big an issue. I think if you were hunting an area where there's more timber or you're looking closer, then the basically the lower power you'd want, kind of obviously, if you're probably hunting out east, you'd probably want like 8 power because you're in thick timber and you're not really looking that far out, and so you want that really wide field of view, and you don't want to have too much power when you're close to game or when you're looking for game close to you. The objective 50, so 12 by 50, the objective is 50, so it does allow you to gather more light in low light conditions, and have a greater field of view as well. But
I would think it's more practical. From what I'm finding out, definitely 10 by 42s. If you're hunting in timber or close quarters, 300 yards or less, you don't need 12 by 50s at all. But if you're hiking meadow to meadow and ridge to ridge looking at different parks, I think you're going to get way more out of the 12 by 50s than you would by the 10 by 42s. Just because the whole argument, you get more range of vision, but then you got to stop, you got to bring out your spotting scope or use your rifle scope to really see the animal. Where those 12 by 50s, you might lose a little range of view, but you're going to see that animal a lot better, what it is, or to judge that animal. And then you don't have to deal with pulling out the spotting scope or using your rifle scope to get a better view of what you're looking at. So you're going to save some time there, a little less, messing around with stuff. But if you're hunting in thicker timber, especially if you're archery hunting, you probably don't need even 10s. If you're in a tree stand, you don't need 10s. But if you're doing a lot of moving and just covering tons of ground, 10 by 42s would work, but you don't really see a lot of animals that way either. So.
yeah, I don't really like carrying a spotting scope just because of the added weight and bulk, and since I carry filming gear, it would just be too much, like because I have to carry cameras. So I like the idea of having 12 by 50s out west because I'm usually glassing areas really far away, and I don't want to have to feel like I also need a spotting scope with me to be able to see the detail or see an animal. So I think that's kind of why I always gravitate towards the 12 by 50s or 12 power binoculars. But yeah, I think I would agree that 10 power binoculars are more versatile overall. Um,
Yeah, you're still going to see that animal, and unless you're just super picky and have to have a giant animal, you're still going to see it's a buck or a doe. You're still going to see it, but I don't think you're losing that much if you do go with the 12 by 50s. You're going to lose a little vision, but you're sitting there, glassing anyway, so you're going to cover the whole ground no matter what. And you're going to see it more detailed with the more magnification.
I guess maybe the only other downside to a 12 by 50 over or a 12 power over like 8 or 10 power is usually they are more bulky and a little bit more heavy. But we compare these Trophy X50s to my Vortex 12 by 50s, my Vortex Diamondback, and I've done a review on them, and I come to the conclusion that the Diamondback HDs were better, and they certainly are. Like out in the field at low light conditions, we kept switching back and forth and trying to really do a detailed view through them to see which one is actually better in low light and which one has clear glass. And I think we both came to the same conclusion that the Vortex had better glass than these Bushnells at least. But that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed that discussion. Hopefully it can help you when you're going to choose a binocular. And I look forward to hearing in the comment section from you guys.